Good afternoon. It's Barbara on another impromptu real talk. Um, and this has really been helping me process. And I've been trying to figure out why. So, this is what's happened to me this week. As you know, normally I have conversations each day, usually multiple times a day, with my dragons. And over, say, certainly last week, 2 weeks, when they decided to back out of the room going, sorry. Um, and I've been trying, and I keep asking, like, why are you not talking to me? And it's not because they don't want to talk to me. It's not because they've gone away. They were like, you've got to figure some things out for yourself. Yes, we could help you. And they've literally been talking to me more today. They were going, yes, we can help you. But to understand what's going on, you've got to dig a bit deeper, and just talking to us is superficial in terms of what you really need to dig into. So I think this is the beginning for me. And again, I really have to, I think it's going to be a weekend that I've got to look back on my life and see where, so this is what's come up for me. I've realized that my ego emerged, and I've just been out for a walk. It's a beautiful day here. It's just 70 degrees, beautiful spring day, and I completed most of my work, and I need to get out to stretch my back because my back has been playing me up. Not a big surprise, right? Because, spiritually, when we're holding on to stuff or we need to let go, it sort of affects our meridians, our energy systems, all that stuff. So it occurred to me that my ego emerged, and I have really not been used to having an ego. And when I say that, I realized, so what I was shown was my ego was under a rock. It had been weighted down, pushed down. They're even showing me like rocks upon rocks upon rocks upon rocks. My ego was squashed, and that was due to multiple years of verbal abuse when I was a child, and multiple years as an adult, before I broke free from a very abusive marriage. And I'm now 25 years free, but I've literally been coming into this. I talk about it as my elder wisdom, but it's like at last. So what I'm hearing now is they're saying at last my ego got out from under the rock, and then when it came up, it literally came up as this huge. They're almost showing me it like a cartoon, like this huge, all-engulfing bubble that came up and brought all of the things that have been pushed down, and that I'd not experienced, and now it's making me feel like I'm going to cry. So it has brought up all the things that ego allows us to do, which is to speak positively about ourselves, to have sometimes an inflated idea, right? I never felt that I was, quote, worthy of having those ideas for many years, and for many reasons, and I really won't, it's not even worth going into them, but I've lived that sort of life, right? I'll just go and do my job. I'll just go and be a wife. And I know you won't believe any of this if you've seen my videos, but I realized what happened was for a good 6 months, my ego literally lifted me up and allowed me to, I freely talked. Even if you look back over a few videos, I almost felt, and I said this to a few people, like I had ADHD. I was talking very fast, pressured speech, I guess. I felt like I had so much I wanted to share. Like I was so positive about what my next steps were, where I was going, why I was doing it. The dragons were also telling me, yes, this is where you're meant to be, this is where you're going, just go and do it. Really boosted, I guess, my morale. And I 100% was there, right? I'm like, yes, this is what I do. And then the proverbial pin and the bubble, right? Somebody came along and burst that bubble, and I fell back. I'm not going to say I fell under the rock, but I fell back down. And I've spent the last 2 weeks going, what the hell happened? Why was I so elevated? And I think I mentioned as well, when this happened, I felt like literally my energy fell out of my feet. That's what I said, right? Literally felt like the energy fell out my feet. Then my head exploded the other day. So I think what's happened, I've been in a huge shift. And today when I was having lunch, or sitting having lunch with my son, and I suddenly realized, like I was hearing, you're just good enough. You're good enough. Why are you trying? Why do you think you should be doing more? You are enough. And I was like, right. So I need to work on some of that ego stuff. I also used I love this deck. Whenever I talk about this all the time, the Sacred Soul deck. I used that this morning to ask questions. And of course it gave me all the answers that I didn't want, but I know that that was true. But before I came on, I looked at like, what is the ego? So the ego is part of the personality that acts as rational mediator between instinctual urges, and moral consciousness, the superego, operating on the reality principles. So I think my superego was there, right? It is responsible for decision making, conscious awareness, and maintaining a stable sense of self, balancing internal desires with external reality. So that is exactly how it felt for me, like my internal balance reflecting in external desires. The reality principle, the ego navigates the external world, ensuring desires are met in socially acceptable and safe manner. The mediator role, it balances the ID, primitive drive, and the superego, morality. The ego provides a sense of self, personality, and self continuity. I can't even speak. Formation. It develops in early childhood. Ego in different perspectives, so don't go through that. But that, not just arrogance. While a big ego can mean vanity, the ego itself is just the self structure. Everyone has one. People with low self-esteem still have an ego. It merely expresses feeling of inadequacy or self-criticism rather than arrogance. So people with low self-esteem still have an ego. It is merely expressing feelings of inadequacy. All right, so common ego behaviors: defensiveness and feeling attacked, need for control and external validation, comparing self to others, need for self-justification. So something for me to consider. So I thought that I would just bring that on, and I've already talked for 10 minutes. So if you've noticed, I also, to cheer myself up, this is Marilyn Monroe collection. I put it on Facebook, but I've got bling bling on my nails, right? So now I feel like I should be going somewhere. But oftentimes because I look at my hands a lot, and I was like, need to do them. So Colour Street did a series called Marilyn Monroe. Sadly, I thought there was some pictures of Marilyn that I thought I was going to get on my nails, but when I tried to do it, it didn't work out. But anyway, I did my nails. I'm feeling better. But I just wanted to talk about that. Like, what does that mean for you? How do you feel about your ego? And have you noticed that? Is it a theme or is it just me? It feels like there was a shift, and I often talk about timeline shifts. I know there was a big shift, right? So it was a timeline shift, and it shifted me. It brought my ego out from under those huge rocks and boosted me. I'm not sure I enjoyed that part of me, but it was a new part of me. So maybe it will come back again. I think so. It was for me to understand that I am enough. And I think that's the message for you. That if you're seeing this, the message for you today is I am enough. So have a good rest of Friday. I hope it's nice where you are. And I'll probably be back tomorrow on Saturday. Have a good one.